On September 1st of 1859, the astronomer Richard Carrington was looking into his telescope as usual when he noticed a series of dark spots on the sun. Afterwards, he saw a great explosion. And 17 hours later, the world was hit with what was and is still the greatest known CME, coronal mass ejection, that has ever been observed. This was so powerful that telegraph operators were shocked when they were doing the telegraph to send and receive messages of the day. Phone lines burst into fire. It was a crippling of the world, of the northern hemisphere at that time. This has come to be known as the Carrington event of 1859. And if that happened today, it would have been absolutely devastating. Can you imagine getting a pulse bomb so powerful that it would blow up your tablet, your cell phone, your computer, your Apple Watch? Plus it would, of course, take down the entire power grid of every city, and it would send Aurora Borealis, the northern lights, down as far as Hawaii. That would be a trippy thing, but of course it would cripple our economy because it would destroy backup generators at hospitals. Nobody could refrigerate food in retail and restaurants and retail stores and restaurants. Security cameras, detention centers, everything that is operated with magnetic key cards would cease to be. But thankfully, we are a part of our wonderful star. Our star got upset that day and threw a fit, but it was only one in the century that has been that powerful. Now, in the following century, there were a couple of smaller storms, but in 1989, another one was pretty powerful, not quite as powerful, and it ended up blacking out Canada for quite a while. People went a long time without power. The last one that we just missed was in 2012, and we were thankfully on the other side of the sun, so we missed the ejection. Now, why do I say that? Because recently astronomers found out that our sun is like no other star that we've ever come across. 369 stars that were of the sun's same type, size, and spin were examined, and every other star we've ever seen is 5 times more active, more flare prone than our star. That makes our star special. Now, take a look here at this visualization of the types of stars. First, you have M-type stars. These are the most common in the galaxy. 80% of all stars that are in existence are red dwarf stars. They're tiny, dim, cool little stars that have very long lifespans, but they are flare prone. Imagine having something the size of the Carrington event every week for 3 different days. Something that could collapse the power grid and scorch life 3 times a week. That's how flare prone some of these stars are. And then there is K-type stars, which are orange stars. They are similar to our sun, but weaker and dimmer. They're the only other star besides F stars that are able to be potentially suitable for life. But even all of these, what we're going to see, are not perfect. G is our type of star, typical yellow star. F is a larger yellow star, but it's the limit of how far we can go. If it gets any bigger than this, A, B, and O are huge supergiants. We can't have life around these because they only live about 400,000 to 10 million years. So life would not have been able to get started around them. Plus, when they blow, and there's no getting in their way. Now, my point in telling you this is that in all the stars that we've looked at, despite all of these types, we only have 5 to 10% of stars that are like our star at all. But even among those, if we look for all the same type, we find that only our star is as calm as it is. It's as though it was created for life, to house a planet with life on it. We are so blessed every day to have a star that only acts up once every couple centuries really bad, and then maybe it gets a little temperamental, maybe a couple times a century. And then that's all. It takes an astronomer with very sensitive equipment to see it's how active. But if you look at all the other stars that are G-type stars, you still find that ours is 5 times less active than its closest relative that is supposed to be just like it. Our star is the key to our health, and it's the key to weight loss, and it's the key to successful OMAD. I've talked before on this channel about getting sunlight to have a better OMAD journey. So we're going to talk about how you should, first of all, have a healthy respect for the sun. Don't stay out in it too long, especially if you're fair-skinned. Give yourself about 7 minutes per day. Number 1, it regulates bowel movements. You're going to find that this is a huge deal because with regular bowel movements, you find that you lose weight better, but you also feel better. You cleanse your body, and you get to where, instead of being constipated, which some people report when they start OMAD, your body develops a pattern quicker. If you can get sunlight, even indirect sunlight, for periods of time per day, you'll find that you lose weight better and your bowel movements become regular and they become of the right consistency, not too soft, not too hard. And then you develop the ability to actually create bowel movements on your time. Rather than having urgency to go in the middle of the day when you're at work, that's pretty rare. You become basically to where you can take over control of your metabolism, which is, most of us would say, a good thing. Benefit number 2, your metabolism speeds up. And this is, once you see the first one, you know the second one is happening. Your metabolism speeds up, which says a lot about splurge recovery. I have talked to a lot of people who ate a splurge meal. They were fasting, and then they got to a point where they splurged, and the food stayed with them for like 2 weeks. And what this means is your metabolism is pretty slow. If your metabolism is normal, if you go out to eat and you eat a splurge dinner and you gain about 5 pounds of food from eating all day, the next couple days your body should burn that off and put you right back to where you were. If that doesn't happen and you end up getting derailed and you end up with 2 weeks and you're still heavier, that means your metabolism is too slow. You've got some hormonal issues going on. But when you get sunlight, this, in the course of about 2 weeks, will speed up. And you'll start to notice that even when you do splurge or you get more food, your body develops a pattern for what you're doing. And when you do eat more, you just take it right back off. You'll notice this not only in bowel movements, but in your splurge recovery. Number 3, your mood will be better. Now, obviously, this is because of the production of vitamin D. Most people are deficient in vitamin D. I once held a position that vitamin D is not necessary. I no longer believe that. I am convinced now that whether you're supplementing or getting direct sunlight is the best option. You need to be getting vitamin D3 because I've seen what it can do for people with autoimmune disorders. I've seen what it can do for people with slow metabolisms. And I'm going to put in a link in the description to my supplement that I use for D3. It is an oil-based drop, and it is the very best. And people have used it who went to their doctor and could not get their blood lab, their D3 levels up, regardless of what supplement they took by way of a caplet or pill. This actually works, and other people besides me have done it. Since I've moved out to this new house, I've been able to get lots of sunlight and do some tanning in my backyard. It feels great. Number 4, workout recovery. And that is the big thing here. You would not think that that's a connection, but it is. And the reason is if you have a faster metabolism, your blood is going to flow more. Your internal organs are going to work more. And as such, your body's going to stay online more. You're going to stay functional and you're going to stay fit. I can go like I did yesterday and do a huge heavy overhead press with heavier weight, 4 to 6 reps, and realize that I still don't feel as sore as I otherwise would feel if I hadn't done that. So here's my advice. If you want to do what I'm saying, if you're fair-skinned, get 7 to no more than 10 minutes of direct sunlight per day or less if you do it every day. If you're very faithful, you have the time to go out and get 5 to 7 minutes of sunlight every day. If you're darker complected, go right about your business and enjoy the sun as you're able to. Don't overdo it. You treat the sun like a warlord. You come in its presence, or like a great leader or dignitary, you respect it. It will illuminate and brighten your path, but you can't look directly at it. That's why that's the respect you should have for the sun. And if you do that, you go on your therapeutic walks, especially if you're those who are tired after the meal, if you're struggling with blood sugar irregularities, or especially if you're just starting OMAD and you're struggling with being too tired, or you feel sluggish after the meal, start eating less and go out immediately after you get done with your meal. Make a lap or 2 around the block in the middle of the day. Or even if it's not your meal time, either before or after, do as much walking in direct sunlight as you can. But again, even indirect sunlight will work. Don't worry too much about if it's something like that you're struggling with health-wise. Count on your metabolic improvement to be something noticeable within a couple of weeks. So I hope this helps.